Thank you for your talk, Tom. You stole all my lines, so now I really don't have anything to say. uh, One thing that I thought I might say, though, and Tom mentioned it, is something very interesting about Zen is it's based on experience rather than belief or understanding. Right? Zen Master Sung Sung would always say, and of course he stole it from the sutras, is understanding isn't going to help you. And when Tom talks about going and sitting on the cushion, of course he's pointing you towards having an experience yourself of what it is, moment to moment to moment. So you're not going there to read a book. I notice now online some people will look at their phones during the sitting period. I love that. You know, we'll have meditation in there. But, and that's okay because that's an experience too. But unfortunately, the answer isn't there. I wish the answer was there because then I could just send a text out to everybody and then everybody would get the text and then it'd be all over. That's kind of another version of the, if only we could just pass out a pamphlet and then everybody'd vote for Buddhism and we'd all be happy. But that isn't the way it is. So the problem is that it's based on our experience, right? It's not your idea. So what we generally call enlightenment is actually, of course, it's not enlightenment. It's an experience, a connection to your original true self. So that's interesting because certain religions, I mean, it's quite noticeable. I mean, this is a matter of emphasis, but certain religions, like Middle Eastern religions, tend to emphasize belief a lot. It's not that they don't have experience, they just don't emphasize it much. While Eastern religions, at least some of them, emphasize direct experience, right? So the Tao that can be spoken is not the true Tao. Right? So that means, well, it must be something else rather than what we're talking to each other about. Not that there's anything good or bad about talking, but it's not the meaning that is expressed in the talking that is it. Right? So that's why we emphasize what Tom was talking about, sitting on a cushion. There's nothing special about sitting on a cushion. It's just that it allows you or evokes from you a direct experience of what you really are. Not based on anybody else's idea or idea read in a book or saw in a video or heard from a Dharma teacher or a teacher on a Zoom meeting at the Cambridge Zen Center. It's yours. So that's very important. Probably everybody here already understands understands Buddhism and Zen and all that kind of stuff. At least understands it enough. And so what's lacking is this direct experience and completely becoming one with it. That's it. So are there any questions this evening? Any kind of question is okay.
Young Nim has a question.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Hello.
Evening.
Hi.
你好.
你好.
Yes, you were talking about experience.
Yeah.
So I just, this question came up for me. Have you experienced somebody showing you unexpected kindness? Some form of thing that you weren't expecting, but somebody was very kind to you. And can you share something about that and how that experience sat with you?
Ha!
Oh, was that kind?
That's my unexpected kindness.
Yes, to me, but did somebody do that to you?
What?
Did somebody show you some unexpected kindness? That was my
All the
question.
time. Actually, unexpected kindness comes to you, comes in a negative form and a positive form all the time. And that's this moment world. You know, we live in this moment. So this moment is always giving you that moment to moment to moment. What we might call kindness, which would be love and compassion. But it's not your idea, you know, it's a direct experience. Then you might reflect on it and think, oh, that's bad. Or I might reflect on it and think, oh, that's really good. But that's just my idea. Already you got it in this moment. So that's what we casually called unexpected kindness. But it just means it wakes you up, whatever it is, if you're paying attention. If you're not, of course, you just, as Zen Master Sung San said, stumble through life and then you die, right? So this unexpected kindness is your awareness in this moment. Wake up. Doesn't have actually expectations or no expectations. It just has boing. That's why I shouted. We don't shout much anymore, so I hope that surprised you.
Well, it has a different effect when it comes through a speaker.
I understand. It's still just this moment, though, and you get to wake up.
Next.
There's another question from Matt.
Okay.
Day Kwang name. Good to
Where is
see you.
Matt? Oh, hi.
Thanks for being here and for answering
Oh,
questions.
my pleasure.
So my question is, like, Zen is all about becoming one with our experience, and I feel like I can do that when like it's silent, or like the experience is just seeing, hearing, smelling, touching. But when I'm thinking, it's really hard for me to I guess not be attached to the thinking.
Right.
How do you just become one with your thinking?
Right. So becoming one means keeping what Zen Master Sung San called a just now mind or moment mind, right? So if you listen to Buddhist teaching casually, you might think you're not supposed to think, right? But it's about not being attached to thinking. So if you keep this moment mind, then at this moment behind you is what? A gray bedstead?
Yeah.
So you're sitting on a bed that has a gray headboard, and then you have a yellow wall. So that's just this moment. And at this moment, you might also be thinking. So there's eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind, right? So this mind that's thinking at this moment, just think. That's your job at this moment. Don't attach to it. So you can attach to color. Like I really like gray bed. But thank you. But then I like Myogan Snim, that red thing in the back there, that's really ugly. I don't like that, right? So our mind is always doing this, good, bad, and thinking about thinking. So Zen means in this moment, just 100% do it. And that's what Zen Master Sung San called just do it, which in Chinese is Wu Wei, which is to become one, to just do it without any attachment to the result. So usually you're attached to the result. So I want to buy a gray bed for my bedroom so I can be more monk-like laying in my gray bed, blah, 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 right? That kind of stuff goes on all the time. Or I don't like it. The last thing I want is a gray bed. I want a pink bed so that I can be blah, 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 whatever. So if you now that isn't good or bad that happens. Just perceive it clearly in this moment with your moment mind. Then that is it. but you want something from the past. You know, you feel guilty, or you feel, boy, that was really bad, right? Or you want some, or you want to remember something fondly about the past, like, oh, I just love doing carpentry work at the Cambridge Zen Center, you know. Repairing those stairs to go up to the second floor, that was such a wonderful experience, right? Or you have something bad about the future, you know, which is fear or doubt or hesitancy. All kinds of fear can appear in your mind. But you can also be hopeful, excuse me, hopeful about the future too, right? Like, wow, this is going to turn out good. So that's good about the future. But unfortunately, the past and the future don't exist, right? In Buddhism, we say the past is dead and the future is just a dream. That comes from the Diamond Sutra. So if you let go of all that, then you're just in the present moment. Now, in the present moment, maybe you're thinking about the past, or maybe you're thinking about the future. That's not good or bad. Just don't attach to it. Then that's moment mind. That's why Tom said moment mind contains everything, right? Everything is there. In fact, you and the whole universe become one in this moment. That's why I shouted, sorry, Sunim. Because that's it. That's the whole thing. So whether you're some stupid rockhead monk walking down a mountain and you slip and fall and your shoes hit you on the head, or you're at McDonald's and they just brought the tray of French fries to you, all of those things are it. You just think they aren't. If you let go of that thought, this is it. And there isn't anything else. So that's moment mind. But of course, that already went by. Sorry. Okay? So that's what thinking gets you. So there's nothing wrong with thinking, just don't attach to it. So that's why the sixth patriarch got enlightenment when he heard this one line from the Diamond Sutra: when thinking arises in your mind, don't attach to it. Huh, duh, right? Then boom. But we're always thinking.
Try. Oh, sorry.
What? Go ahead.
Yeah. So if we're trying to always keep moment mind, does that mean when we see thinking, we should try to like kind of like hop away from it? Like,
don't try anything. Just do it. Thinking time, think. Drinking time, drink. Eating time, eat. Driving time, drive. That's just do it mind. That's moment mind. Whenever you do something, it's so stupid and so simple that I sound like an idiot saying it, but when you do something, just do it. And that's our Quantum Zen School teaching. That's the brilliance of Zen Master Sung Sung and his teaching, right? You don't have to, we say try, right? So try means to return to just now. And that's also why, there actually isn't any practice, because there's only just now. So if you take the word practice, what does practice mean? Well, I'm doing something now so that in the future, when I have to play this particular piece on the piano, I can play it correctly, so I am practicing. But hello, while you're practicing, you're actually doing it in just this moment, right? So don't attach to any of those words, just do it. Although that's a little complicated because, first of all, there is no it. And just, what does that mean? So that leaves you with do. Actually, it shouldn't be just do it. It should be do, right? That's it. Okay?
Okay, I will do.
I wish thinking could help us. We'd get out of this in a second. Unfortunately, that's what causes the problem. Attachment to that. Any other questions?
I don't see anybody. So if you have any questions, please use the raise hand function. Thank you.
Sarah has a question. Thank you. Hello, Zen Master.
你好
It's good to see you again.
Selamat pagi.
Yes, I just had roti prata this morning, and yeah.
Good. When can I get back there to get some? Sarah's in Singapore, sorry.
Yeah, I'll have the local cuisine for you
Okay,
on your
thank you.
behalf. Meanwhile.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a question.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's very hard to be in the moment mind. The contrast the feeling is so strong that it hits me so hard that I don't want to. I don't want even to be in that moment time. And one thing that you taught has always helped me a lot. Whatever arises in the mind, don't attach to it.
Right.
But sometimes maybe the mind runs too fast. So the attachment is so fast that, yeah, basically just now what Matt has asked and what you have said answer quite to the question that I had. But this moment of contact, how do I actually be able to handle them better?
I don't know. That's another interesting thing of our teaching, Zen Master Sung Sung's teaching is this don't know mind. So we use the term don't know because you don't, like, for example, where do you come from? Or when you die, where do you go? So always in your mind appears, well, don't know. You don't know. And when Bodhidharma, who brought Zen to China, was interviewed by Emperor Wu of Liao, he was asked by Emperor Wu, who are you? Who's standing here before me? And he said, don't know, right? So that's famous. That's the source of our teaching. I mean, it's brilliant. But there's nothing actually to attain, right? In the Heart Sutra it says there's no attainment with nothing to attain. So that means there's nothing to get. And there's also nothing to lose. There's just this moment. And the only way you can become one, this is just an explanation though, sorry. The only way you can become one with this moment is to keep your don't know mind. But your don't know mind thinks it does everything, right? So what we're doing is using words that point towards you having an experience. Now, they might just fall dead on your ears. You've heard Zen Master Sung Sung say, just do it, or only don't know, right? And it only takes about a week for those to become trite, just casually repeated, or even really repeated strongly, but right, it doesn't do anything. But it's a kind of technique that that teachers use to, I would say, evoke from you your experience of whatever it is. So the teacher might shout, the teacher might give you an explanation of how to translate the Diamond Sutra from Chinese into English or whatever. But the intent behind is it's a finger pointing at the moon, we would say in Zen, right? So I can explain the finger to you. I can explain astrophysics to you. I can explain the motion of the planets and all the little satellites spinning around them and everything. But in the end, you have to look up and see the moon yourself. But I can, the teacher can point. There's nothing special about that. So all these teaching words, whatever they aren't it. They're just pointing towards something to attempt to wake you up. It might even be a phrase from the sutras, like the Sixth Patriarch. When thinking arises in your mind, don't attach to it, right? Or it might not. I don't know what it is. It might be something you see, hear, smell, taste, touch. It might even be something you think. Then, boom, right? But that isn't going to help you. You have to use that to help the world. So that's a big I want. I want to take away the suffering of the world. So it isn't even about not wanting anything. You know, we in Zen certainly teach big I want something, which is love and compassion for all beings. Okay? Does that answer your question? Thank you. Nice to see you. Hold a seat. Hold a seat for me at the Roti Prata place. I'll take Tom. Tom and I will go with you.
I think Felix has a question.
Okay, Felix, where are you, Felix?
Felix is under Beth.
Oh, he's on the backside? Okay.
Hello.
Go ahead.
My question would be whether you could explain what your teacher has taught you about karma and rebirth.
Right. So in Buddhism, we teach that everything is by cause and effect, right? So I usually kind of think about cause and effect as the Buddhist explanation for God. So God is actually cause and effect, right? God makes everything, causes everything. And then there's all kinds of spins on that, you know. But in Buddhism, we don't have a God. We have cause and effect. So that's a kind of explanation. Again, it's just an idea. And if we would talk about something, we would say, oh, that's the result of cause and effect. So cause and effect are always going around, you know, but that's just a teaching idea. So this original whatever it is, there's many words for it, right? What's the sutra say? There's over 3 billion words. I forgot how that goes. But, you know, some people say it's God. Some people say it's Buddha nature. Some people say it's cause and effect. Some people say it's Buddha original nature, true nature, blah, blah, blah. So there's many words for it, but it's just this moment what's happening. But then that goes by. So I mean, in terms of an explanation, you have time, space, and cause and effect, right? Those are the 3 major ones. And then each religion will have a different name for all those things, and they'll think about them differently, but that's just thinking. So the whole thing is kind of, it doesn't even march along because it's always just now. So that's moment world. You don't even have to, all you have to do is perceive what it is now and then use that to help the world. So that's the way we think about it. Now, I don't know, maybe there's, you know, some ways of thinking about it are better than others, but it's all just thinking about it, which is not good or bad. The important thing is to wake up just now so you can use that stuff to help the world, whatever those explanations are. So we use cause and effect as an explanation to help people, and we use time as a concept to help people, but there is no time, right? And we use space as a concept to help people, but right? So all those things are just words pointing towards something. And again, that brings us back to this direct experience again. Because here we are, and try to get a hold of something and see how that works out. So moving right along, does anybody else have a question?
I actually have a question.
Okay.
There's nobody else, so I have a question. I would like to follow up on Felix's question a little bit, which is I've never heard anybody explain Buddhism's relationship to science. And since we're living in a time of a lot of disinformation and people like questioning science, I was wondering if you had some thoughts about it, because I mean, one could argue, and I know these are just words, and I apologize to be too philosophical about it, but technically speaking, a lot of us have never experienced the earth as round, right? I mean, we in some ways, the way we experience the world is as flat, but actually it turns out science tells us, you know, the earth is round, and from our perspective, it looks like, you know, the sun is moving and not the earth around the sun.
Right.
So what would a Buddhist teacher say about this? What do you say about that?
So I know the Dalai Lama is he likes science, right? But he takes that position, I think, but I don't know, because certain religious people are kind of like anti-science, right? So science isn't going to prove whether there's a God or not a God, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe you can these days. Anyway, science is a way of thinking about things in terms of probably in terms of cause and effect, and in terms of time, and in terms of space. So it all fits in with Buddhism well, right? And again, it's how do you use it to help other people, help the suffering of the world? So I guess if you wanted to spin it enough, you could argue that science helps with suffering, because science created the understanding that we use to create atomic bombs, and then we drop atomic bombs on people, and then they suffer. Some of them are killed instantly, some are just burned to death, some are burned, some get radiation sickness, blah, 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 right? So you could say, well, science is not so good. On the other hand, you might use science to create a coronavirus vaccine. And then you'd say, oh, science is good because it allowed us to make this vaccine, and people are suffering because of this virus, and blah, 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 and that helps, right? So it's just like anything else. It can be used for good or bad, or a better way to think about it is, how do I use this to help other people, right? And to actually help people, you got to be paying attention to what's happening, because you don't know in any one circumstance what might be the thing that helps somebody unless you're paying attention. Anyway, there's no formula and there's no pat answer. I wish I was, but then we revert back to the pamphlet situation. We just write a pamphlet and hand it out and everybody's satisfied. Right? So instead, it's this incredible infinite thing that's beyond words and speech, beyond understanding, beyond anything. Infinite in time and space, right? That's what you say about your true self. And then how do you use that to help other people? So it includes, you can use religion to help people. I mean, in Singapore, we use the Buddhist religion to try to help people, right? Or you might be like Zen Master Sung Sung and say, well, you Americans are so lucky you don't know anything about Buddhism. So it's easy for me to teach you about Zen because I don't have to erase your Buddhist tape before I teach you about Zen, right? So if you get attached to that, then you're in trouble again. So it's about letting go. And then what are you going to use to make that happen? Well, you might shout. You might explain how to translate Sanskrit into English. You might talk about rocket ships going to the moon. You could, if you're clever, you can, and you have wisdom. We would say wisdom. You can use any of those things to help other people. So I don't think science is special. It's a way of thinking, and hopefully it can be used to actually help people. The problem is that many times it's in the service of people making money. So it serves the money desire, or it might serve the fame desire. When I was in science, I noticed that a lot of scientists were fighting with each other, not so much about whether their particular theory was correct or not, but about their own pride and their own stature, So they were kind of Trump scientists or something. So I'm right. So that's kind of interesting. So that's why you have to let go of your like and dislike mind. Then something else appears, and it may come in the form of science. It might come in the form of a song. It might come in the form of being able to teach somebody, or help somebody, or cure somebody, or help treat somebody. It comes in many, 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 infinite number of forms. Right?
Thank you.
Sorry, I don't know more about science. What?
Ramondas has the next question.
Where's Ramundus?
I am somewhere.
Are you in the United States or are you in Lithuania?
I'm in the United States, yes.
Okay. Labas.
Labas. So I want to follow up on our great. Who are you now? I don't remember if you're an abbot or a head Dharma teacher, but anyway. So I want to follow up on the great question that was before me.
Mhm.
So so Zen says clear, perceive clearly, right? But yeah, you look at the sky and the sun is moving, so perceive clearly, oh, the sun is moving,
Mhm.
right? And look at the earth and it's not rotating, it's actually stationary.
Mhm.
It's really stationary. So so I perceive clearly, but that's all not really true.
Right.
So how do you deal with that?
I don't know. That's your idea too, that you're perceiving clearly, right? So I wouldn't attach to that idea. So you're
Oh,
that, I think that's probably why scientific theories are always changing all the time.
okay.
So it's clear eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, clear mind. But those are just words, right? And they're words that refer to your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind when you are not making good and bad. Then what you see, what you hear, what you smell, taste, blah, 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 everything is the truth at that moment. It's not whether your theory of planetary motion is correct or not correct. It's whether you see, it's whether you see clearly at this moment and even think clearly. So if your theory isn't right, you might want to, or if it doesn't work, then you might want to adjust it if that's your criteria. I don't know, I'm getting a headache talking about this.
Sorry about that. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Any other questions? Well, perhaps that's enough. So I want to thank you all for coming and listening. And most important is what Tom said, do some what we call conventionally practice so that you can wake up, right? So that's kind of our job. And then use that wake up mind to help the world. So I don't know, it's just kind of my theory, but most human beings, they're creating a lot of trouble for themselves and everybody around them, while they could be doing something else. And what they could be doing is looking into themselves and finding out what they really are. So that's the Buddha's teaching. Find your true self and help the world. That's the Quantum Zen School's teaching. It's very, very simple. It's before simple. But unfortunately, you, although there is no you, have to do something, but there's only just now, so what will you do? So that's our job. So thank you, Tom, for your talk, and thank you all for listening. And I'd like to thank everybody there at the Cambridge Zen Center who supports the Zen Center, which of course is a facility which allows us to practice and hear this kind of teaching, which actually helps the world. So thank you very much.